Hi everyone, welcome back to part 3, finally part 3 of this beautiful scene that we're painting this week. Right, I'm going to show you how far I have gotten on with this painting over here. Right, so here we go. This is a water mill in West Virginia, down in good old West Virginia. We did part 1, all these trees up here, and we did the water mill as well. Then we moved down to part 2, we done the rocks and this lovely waterfall here, okay? That was part 1 and part 2. So we're moving on to part 3, alright? Here's my palette. I have a very messy palette. This is the same palette I used, by the way, for the entire painting, okay? Part 1, 2 and 3. I just left everything as it was in situ. I gave my brushes a quick clean with some turpentine on some tissue. I refreshed my turpentine, nice clean turpentine in there. And that's it. We're going to move down and focus on the water with some rocks and the finishing details. So I hope you like this tutorial. Let me know what you think. I'm very happy with it so far. And let's go on, have a bit more fun with this. Thank you so much for subscribing and indeed watching. I hope you're learning new things every time you watch tutorials from me. I do try and give you a really good tutorial and some practical knowledge on painting. Nothing complicated, just nice, practical, easy to understand techniques. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Have fun. Right, shall we go? Now we're moving on to the water here, and the strange thing about the water is, although there's kind of blue and kind of dark greys in the water, it kind of disappears then and turns into a sort of a brown with some hints of kind of a yellowy sienna kind of a colour and a little bit of green. So this is going to be interesting to see how we can kind of bring from one colour into the next. Yes, this will be very interesting. Now what I'm going to do is just bring another rock. I can see another rock across there like that, okay? And this now is still a little wet, by the way, because this was just finished earlier in part 2. So I stopped for about an hour or 2, just to let it kind of sit for a while and just to sit back and look at everything. So let's carry on with this now. We'll do some more work on the rocks and then that kind of stuff, okay? So, this water here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix maybe a brown first. So let's dampen our brushes, okay? A large, flat, soft synthetic brush, that's what I have. Now actually, some of you are probably wondering how I start my painting with a new stubby brush. So what I do basically is, let me find a stubby brush here, okay. Now this is the stubby brush, okay, a new stubby brush. And it has to be used a couple of times before it's thickened up a little, do you understand? Because it's really very smooth and it's very soft. Alright, just bear that in mind when you buy these. They're really very soft. Okay, now we could use this if we want. We'll try and use this our first time using a new stubby brush. Okay, so let's dampen it slightly, take off the excess. Let's pick up some burnt umber and a hint of cadmium red and a hint of black. Now again, plenty of turpentine in this. I want this to really flow around on the canvas. And then into that I'm going to take a hint of white, and the white will sort of make it more opaque. So it'll cover that a little bit better, you see? Now you can see that's really watery, isn't it? I may take a little black and I might take a hint of let me think about this now. I'll take a hint of yellow, cadmium yellow. I'm not making quite a green, but like a muddy. It's a very muddy sort of green. So let's take some cadmium yellow again, a little hint of black, and then a hint of burnt umber. There's a lot of brown on the canvas, I can see that. But there's also a lot of a muddy kind of green there as well. And bearing in mind as well that we have a lot of blue up overhead, I'm going to take a little bit of blue as well. Now I picked up some black there by accident, okay? Let's take some phaylo blue as well. and I'm going to soften some of that in as well. So we now end up with a blacky green kind of a colour down at the end, don't we? Let's take a little hint of white and mix it in with that. Then that turns it a sort of a bluey grey. Now we're going to soften that into that blue up overhead, and let's soften it in here and there just so that it helps the painting work together, okay? Because you don't want a definite separation between the dark and the top. You want to kind of help them move together, work together. So I'm putting little hints of that blue and that brown up here also, look, just here and there, to sort of help tie the painting together. That's the word I'm looking for. You want to tie the painting together, okay? So I just put in this nice muddy colour all the way across. Don't worry about the lights now, the yellowies and all that kind of stuff. We'll pull those down with our brush in a moment. Let's just concentrate on getting this sort of muddy grey brown kind of a background colour into the water. Just for now, okay? Just for now. And the next thing I'm going to do then is I'm going to take some titanium white with a little hint of phthalo blue. Okay. And I'm going to, with kind of the tip of my brush, you can see the way the brush is pointed, you see? It's a nice point on the brush. I'm going to sort of wiggle some of that light colour down into this. Again, to help kind of bring those two sections together to become one. Now I do know we have another big kind of a chunky rock that comes out there. I can see that. I'm going to put extra rocks in here as well, so not to worry about that too much, okay? Look, this is just an impression at the end of the day, that's all. An impression of the scene. So look, we have that nice kind of transition, don't we? The next thing I'm going to do is, with my same brush, now I'm drying this really well. It's a really properly dry brush, okay? Really, really well. Drying it on my tissue down here. We have some hints of the yellow reflecting down, don't we? It's kind of a green, and we have lovely siennas over here. So what I might do first now is take some burnt umber, okay, and I'll take a hint of Naples yellow, alright, and with that, without mixing it too much, let's get this hair out here, there we go, without mixing it too much, I am going to pull it down very lightly, okay? Just to show the reflection of that light side of that rock there, alright? Okay, so you can see that now, you understand what I mean? Let's do the same on the other one over here. Perhaps just some Naples yellow even. And I know now you think this is very subtle, but we'll add to these, okay? We'll add to them as we're going. Naples yellow, a little burnt sienna this time. And let's try pulling some of that. I won't put too much sienna. And what's happening then is, you see, is these colours, as I'm putting them on, they're mixing with the colour underneath, which is a good thing. Naples yellow, a little cadmium red, and perhaps a hint of cadmium yellow as well, look. So now we're putting a hint of yellow into this as well. So let's pull that yellow down here. And the secret to this, I think, is not to go over it too much. So just give it one or two kind of solid brush strokes and then leave it. I find that's the easiest way to get all of this to sort of stay where you want it to stay. You see? Now it's a bit yellow, so let's take a bit of sienna, put some sienna into this. And let's do the same over on the other side. Okay, let's take some of that. It's just paint on its own, nothing else, okay? And I only just want to show little hints of the background colour reflecting down on the scene. That's all. I just want to show little tiny touches of it, that's all. I want to put more here I like that kind of light colour that's over here. And let's put a hint of it across there. Put a hint of it just here and there. I might reflect some greens down onto it as well. So some really dark muddy greens. Let's try some cadmium yellow, a little black and a hint of brown. That'll give us a nice muddy warm brown kind of a green. Let's pop some of that in there, look. Just a little touch of it here and there. Perhaps a little hint of it around in the middle here. And pop some up here and there too, look, just in the blue. Because we just want to try and reflect some of those colours down. Now I have a hair on my canvas there, look. I'll try and get that off. It's really thick. No, that's fine. And then I have a very dark spot in the centre. I'm going to pull the dark spot down there now. Clean your brush, just dip it into your tissue or your turpentine and give it a really good dry on your tissue. Now let's get some nice darks. Let's get some burnt umber and some black. I think even those two there might be enough. Because we do have a lot of browns up there and I do want to reflect all those browns down underneath. So lots of burnt umber in this. So you can see now I'm not going over the same spot too much. And I'll take a little black. I go over here and give that a nice dark just here and there as it comes in. Now the next thing I want to do is I am going to perhaps suggest a little bit of red. Just to suggest the reflection of this just through the water, just here and there. Look, that's all. And then I'm going to soften all this together with my soft blender brush. Now I'm hoping this all works out. So downward strokes. I don't know if this is going to turn out exactly as I hoped it would turn out, but let's just do it and see. Okay? We're not going to know unless we try. Isn't that right? Pull these ones down here and then I'm going to go across. Now you've seen loads of artists do this, okay? It's just simply pulling everything across very lightly. And you can hear my dog, not my dog actually, it's my neighbour's dog again, barking in the background. Okay, now I'm going to stop now and take a look at that. Okay. Soften these together just a little up there. One thing I want to do is I want to pull some dark down from that rock over here. So I'm taking some burnt umber and black and I'm going to just pull some of that down very gently like this, okay? Then take your soft brush again, pull that down. And perhaps on the other side as well. And then I might suggest some of the lighter side of that rock as well. Kind of hitting just here and there. Look, just a little suggestion. And perhaps a little bit on that. Again, don't overdo this. Just 1 or 2 brush strokes is more than enough. Just to give you the impression. Now, the next thing I want to do is, I want to put in some smaller rocks here and there. Before I get on to really kind of making the reflections stand out. So I'm going to take, let me see now. I'll go with a small brush just for now and I need to get some burnt umber on my palette as well. So let's get some more burnt umber there. You enjoying this? I really hope you are. Let's take some burnt umber. Let's just suggest some little stones here and there on the river, okay? Okay, it's just a mixed match of lots of different types and sizes of stones. Well, not different types, but different sizes, isn't it? It's just... There we are, little couple there, one or two kind of clumps of rock. We'll just refine these then with the pointy brush in a moment, yes? Put a nice big one here. You see? Just simple like that. And then I'll take the small brush, my small pointy brush, my little detail brush, and I'm going to give them first some dark colour, so maybe some black and a hint of phthalo blue. I'm going to go on the dark side here and just give them a little of that dark coming down here and a bit there. Let's take some burnt umber, pop some of that along some of these here. I'm just keeping all of this simple, I really am. I don't want to go to any extreme lengths putting in these rocks, okay? Because a lot of this will have water going through it, in and out, so you don't have to, it's going to be covered anyway, do you understand? Let's take some Naples yellow and some sienna. And let's give these a little bit of light. Okay, that's one. And we'll give this one a little bit of light here. I'm just sort of wiggling the brush a little bit as I go, you know? Let's give these a little touch of light, catching them here and there. Again, don't go too crazy with this, you don't really have to. You can if you wish, but you don't have to. A little bit of light on some of these, maybe a bit bright, so we can dull that down a bit with some sienna. Perhaps a little umber. Take a little white. So you can kind of see, I'm just trying to keep it simple. It's just a very simple impression, okay? Little marks with the brush. Don't worry about painting every single little detail of the rock. Just go and hit it with little lights here and there. And your brush will do the rest, okay? I promise. Now I want to put in a couple of very darks. So let's take some black and let's just pop a little black in here and there, just at the base of those. And I'm just sort of wiggling my brush around as I go, okay? See, just a little wiggle here and there. Now, one thing I want to do then is, let's just refine this one here a little, look. With this brush, I'm now going to take some white and some blue. Let's get some of these nice bright ripples in the water down here. Phthalo blue and lots of white. Now you don't want it too white. A nice bright sky kind of a blue, okay? And I'm just going to refine all of these here again. Look, just one or two of those. Give it a little wiggle. Because you get these lovely little ripples in the water, don't you? And then we'll go in behind some of these, underneath them, look. So the water is kind of rushing past and around all of these rocks. It's just creating a little drama in the painting, that's all. And let's go around. So you're basically going underneath each rock and just hitting that with some light, okay? Some light colour. And let's go around this one over here, you see? You don't have to go crazy with this now, yes? Just a little. Let's go around this one here. Now it's coming together, isn't it? Let's put a little bit just in around here. some under those. And then where they meet the reflections as well, look, we can put one or two little ones just along here. And by the way, you can use your palette knife for this as well if you like. That will give you some lovely results. But pointy brush is nice to get used to the pointy brush every now and again too, isn't it? There we go. And let's just add a couple of tiny little reflection, they're like little dots basically. White and Naples yellow, and I'm just going to put a couple of little do a couple of ripples as well. So we've kind of leaves then and all sorts of things floating around. And it's primarily just breaking up the reflection, that's all. Let's take some sienna, a little cadmium yellow, and we can use that to sort of suggest leaves on the water. And that'll break it up nicely then. Little sienna on its own. Just a couple kind of here and there. I don't want to go absolutely crazy with all this now, but because it'll take away from the reflections, but just a handful here and there. Sort of gathered in the middle. I suppose they're kind of following the flow of the river, aren't they? Now, how is that? Are we looking good? I want to do this rock here and get this done. I'm checking my time on the camera. We're pretty good, actually. We're pretty good. What I might do actually is, look, it just popped into my head for a moment. I might take a fan brush with some white, okay? And just here and there, pop a little of that in. Just to suggest kind of rough, slightly rough water just around the centre there. Okay? Do you know what I mean? It's not too much, just a little suggestion. Now this rock over here, I need to get this in. So let's just try some burnt umber. Okay, then let's take some black, perhaps a hint of red. Then I dry that, I'll take some white, some burnt umber and some Naples yellow. And I'll go up here and let's just suggest the light of that rock coming down. Okay. And I'll do then what I did before as well with the peppering. Remember when we done the peppering? I'm going to try that. I'm just going to take some sienna with Naples yellow, okay, on a dry brush, and I'm just going to go along and dab, 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 dab very gently. Like so. Then I may take my small detail brush, okay, I get my very small one, take some black, and I am going to just sort of suggest cracks and stuff like that in the rock, okay? Very simply, just have a bit of fun. Just have some fun when you're doing this. Okay? This is great fun. I just love this kind of stuff. Then I'm going to take my large stubby again, take some black and a hint of brown, and pull, when you're doing reflections like this, okay, whatever you're reflecting, whatever it is, you have to pull everything vertically down, okay? Always remember that. Not at an angle or anything, just vertical down, all the time. And then soften them down like this, okay? Then come across very gently. And then last but not least, we take some of our nice bright colour and we just go around that very carefully like that, look. Just to create an edge, that's all. You see? It's just like that, very, very simple. And I'm going to put some light colour, some white around these here, just to show off these a little bit more. And I would say we're pretty much there, aren't we? I suppose we could add some red just over here in this corner, because I can see there's a little touch of red on that rock. It's just like dots of flowers kind of popping out, isn't it? Put a couple up here too. Okay, just to break it up a little bit, that's all. We're doing quite well now. I must say I really enjoyed this. I'll soften some of the backs of these. I might put some highlights on those actually, those rocks. I'll take some Naples yellow and I'm just going to hit those with some very bright highlights just here and there. You see, just touch corners of the stones here and there, just a little bit. Lots of thick paint, nothing else. Okay, and let's put a hint of that light around here on some of those. And we carry that over to this side. Okay. And then perhaps one or two up here. And let's stick one or two across here. Thick paint, just drag it around here and there with your brush. Alright, and let's just put one or two. So now we're complementing the painting by putting this little hit of this colour around the painting, you see. Now I think this needs a little sienna as well. Let's just take a bit of burnt umber and sienna and let's just warm these a little. Okay. So use the same colours throughout your painting. I see quite a couple of beginners when they're sending me their artwork, you know, just for me to look at. And I notice what they do is they use lots of contrasting colours, a kind of opposite contrasting colours. So they'd use maybe a load of orange in a sky with kind of a bright bluey green perhaps, and they're just kind of clashing. So one thing to remember is when painting anything like a sunset even, for example, is to use the same colours throughout that painting because it ties everything together lovely. Does that make sense? Try it, just try it, and try to limit your palette then to a few colours. You don't have to have a huge palette of colours. Like I used most of what I had. I didn't use magenta, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colours, but just a little bit of each, you know. You don't have to go mad, you don't have to go crazy with loads of colour. Okay, I think we're done. I'm pretty happy with that, I must say. I'm thinking that's a bit, there's something missing. I'm going to put another rock in there just because I think it needs something. There's just something missing over there. Now, it won't be a very bright rock because it's in the shadow area, but I think it needs something. It really does. Now I'm going to soften it in like that, right? Then add a little touch of black just under it, just to suggest the dark underneath. And then I'm going to soften it very gently down into that kind of mist underneath, okay? Does that make sense? And then I'll just give it a little tiny highlight here and there. Now, I think that's not bad. Let me add a hint of dark green here and there, just through that. And with that, my friends, I would say we are done. I'm just looking around. I see, I want to put a couple of little shadows here and there up on this. Okay, that's pretty good. And my friends, I would say that's finished. I think it's a huge success. I might just put a little touch of green through this here, break it up just a little, and there we go. Are we happy with this? Let me sign this. I'm happy with it for now, okay? S. Conway. And my friends, there we go. Let me zoom in and show you what we have created. Nice warm colours, nice greens, siennas, a lovely watermill, a lovely waterfall, and some nice simple reflections. How is that? I hope you enjoyed it. And there we are. The windmill, the watermill is finished. And how was that? I hope you enjoyed that. I think that was absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to frame that. I'll frame it and I'll put it up for sale. Let's see if anybody's interested, just email me. My email is stephenconway12@gmail.com, and it's on my Etsy page, it's on my website. Listen, thank you so much for all your support. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, please just ask. Don't be shy, just ask. And I'm off of Facebook just for a couple of weeks, okay? Just so I can concentrate on painting and giving you, my friends, some really good tutorials. So thank you so much. Enjoy it and happy painting. I see you again very, very soon.